it is a game that has come from a very unlikely place, and I thought it's worth bringing up and worth talking about because it looks very interesting and it looks very cool, to be honest. So, this game is called Song of Kings. Okay, it's a game that is coming from a little island called Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, for those who don't know, is where I'm from. I'm from Sri Lanka. I came to Melbourne when I was like 13. I grew up here. That's why I have a kind of a weird accent. It's not Aussie, it's not Sri Lankan. It's kind of mixed accent. This is very interesting because Sri Lanka is not known to have games. There are few games that they have made in Sri Lanka, which is not like crazy detailed or like not an international level, right? There were some attempts at making games, but they weren't, I wouldn't say they were huge successes. However, this is a game now is available to be wishlisted on Steam. And if the rumors are true, this is going to be shown on Tokyo Game Show in next month or something. When is the Tokyo Game Show? I think it's like next month, right? So it's coming to it's gonna be on PC. It's probably hopefully comes to consoles as well. It would be awesome if it does. It needs to get a little bit more attention, I think. I checked out the trailer. There's an announcement trailer for it, and there's some gameplay snippets on Steam, which I will show you in a minute. This is probably the first game coming out of Sri Lanka that is able to kind of compete at an international level. It's got its like own thing going on for sure, but it looks pretty good. It looks like it plays really well, and it's got like a Sri Lankan identity to it, which I really love. I freaking love it. They're really tapping into the history of Sri Lanka, which I think is amazing, but with a little twist on it. So I want to talk about that, but before that, let's check out the trailer together because it is amazing. So it's done by this publishing game development company called Mogo Games, that's based in Sri Lanka, which is amazing. Kudos to you guys. Very loud. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're wondering why they have like weird faces, it's I'll explain that to you in a minute where that's the inspiration for those weird facial design comes from. And also I have to note this, they're not going for the realism in this game. They've taken a very artistic approach to the game, which I think is fantastic. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So we got a mom trying to escape with a baby from soldiers. Is she gonna make it? I love the sound. I love the music. The music hits the spot, dude. goes and escapes to somewhere. We don't know where. That's a mystery. And it's that boy now grown up to be grown up a little bit. Oh, that's so cute. That's very cute. This traditional clothing. That's cool. Yeah, so that's the announcement trailer for this game. So I'll open up the Steam page because this is on Steam and you can wishlist it right now. And the description on the page is: Song of Kings is a narrative platformer inspired by Sri Lankan myth. A Yaksha boy, I'll get to that in a minute, captured by humans, must escape a ruthless king, guided by his grandfather's spirit and armed with a mystical flute. He uncovers his heritage and fights to return to his people. So that is the short description, and it is essentially seems to be a linear adventure narration game. And there's a snippet of like here as well that I will show you. As you can see, it's like a little platformer. Yeah. So yeah, it seems to be a platformer, like a 3D platformer, and there is like a little bit more context to what the game is here as well. It says, Song of Kings is a puzzle platform inspired by Sri Lankan mythology. You play as a Yakshira, a young demon child taken from his homeland and trapped in a kingdom ruled by a ruthless king. Guided by the soul of his grandfather and armed with a magical flute, he must outwit enemies, solve ancient puzzles, and uncover the truth about his past. Travel through mystical forests, ruined temples, dungeons, and human settlements, each filled with secrets, dangers, and forgotten stories. Play the flute. The flute is more than an instrument, it's the key to your journey. Hidden melodies lie in the world around you, and each one reveals paths, awakens secrets, and uncovers fragments of the past. Essentially, if you go back like over 2000 years of history of Sri Lanka, this king gets ousted from India and he comes to Sri Lanka and he marries into a tribal woman called Kuweni. And Kuweni is from a tribe called Yaksha. We had like three main tribes in Sri Lanka before this king arrived from India. There was an unrecorded history of Sri Lanka which consisted of three major tribes, which is Yaksha, Naga, and Deva. So it essentially means like Yaksha means like demon tribe, and Naga means like cobra tribe, cobra or snake tribe. Uh, I'm roughly translating it, but and then Deva is like god tribe. Essentially, you had that, right? And even to this day, if you like go to Sri Lanka, you'll see these Yaksha masks, right? And they're like pretty much everywhere. It's like a very symbolic thing for very symbolic thing of Sri Lanka. Those faces that you saw on the game is pretty much inspired by like these yaksha masks, right? These wood carvings is kind of what you normally see everywhere in Sri Lanka, right? And then you see, variations of it. Essentially, it's not like one and the same, but it's kind of like that design language that you use for these yaksha masks is very much a Sri Lankan art identity thing, and that's very obviously is what inspiring the the faces of those characters in the game, which I think is pretty cool because it's representing the Yaksha tribe. It says it's inspired by, it's a Yaksha boy, right? So as you can see, it's like very inspired by that whole Yaksha thing. Even the logo has that similar design language. which is pretty cool. And they're essentially based on those Yaksha tribes and the Yaksha people, and then you play as a little Yaksha boy, right? Which is so cool. And I am really keen to see more of it. And as a game that's coming out of Sri Lanka and for the first time, well, hopefully getting international attention to a game coming from Sri Lanka, I really want to hype it up and I want to see more from them, more of the game, see more of it. I want to see it improve. I don't know when it's dropping. I don't think it has a release date as of yet. It just says coming soon. Yeah, I just want to see like this game go places, man. Platformers like this is the way to go because we in Sri Lanka I had a few games released that is also some of them were based on history, but it just didn't really go to international level. But this has the potential. This is being unveiled in Tokyo Game Show, which could also potentially lead to garnering more attention towards the game and eventually have a following, which would be amazing. But yeah, we never know if the game's gonna do well until we get our hands on it. I have wishlisted it. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna give my thoughts on it when it finally comes out. But for now, I'm gonna keep my eye on it and see where this goes because it's very exciting. And I have talked about how Asian game developers are making an appearance in the wider gaming industry now, other than Japan. Japan has always been in the show, Nintendo and all that. Other game developers like Chinese developers and Korean developers are making comeback. Even India is entering the scene, and it's very exciting to see a little tropical island right next to India is also trying, being seen in the international stage. And I wanna see how far they go with it, and I want to hype up. And if you check it out, and if you have any thoughts, just let me know because I would love to talk about it. And Mogo Games, dudes, you guys are doing great. So keep it up, and hopefully see this game do really well. That's what I hope. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I think Sri Lanka has a lot of history that can translate really well into gaming worlds that hasn't been tapped into in any way. Even with this one, this is like it's well before what we know to be Sri Lanka's history, like recorded history. So it's got a lot of like wiggle room to change up the story they've been told. It can take a lot of liberties in it, which is fantastic. I think that's the way to go because as Asians are, like, you can be very sensitive towards like historical approaches in anything and inaccurate historical representations. I think choosing a setting like this where you can take a lot of liberties with, which is fantastic, and I think that's the right call to make. But having said that, we do have like I said, 2,000 years of history where we had a lot of kings and all that. A lot of things have happened. We can talk about all that, and hopefully eventually we would see these kind of game developers actually getting into the gaming space more and being funded more and being able to make the games that with stories that they want to tell based on history, which will be cool. I mean, imagine like an Assassin's Creed type game based in historic Sri Lanka, which would be amazing. I would play the hell out of that, dude. But yeah, I can only hope that it happens in my lifetime because I would personally get involved and make it happen. That's how passionate I am about it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the game. I think it looks fantastic. I think the art style is pretty cool. As a 3D platform, it can work really well. It's got real potential. So we'll see how it goes, right? We'll see how it goes.